God, live it up. Oh, yeah. Well, I swear that I really want to know how they be. Well, I really want to say.
Welcome back. 9:42, a little bit of change on this Thursday morning, the 17th day of July. More conversations and coverage on our road to the F1 Powerboat Racing Alton Midwest Nationals continues with Dylan Anderson. Man, how are we doing today?
Fantastic. Off to a good start here. We're normally this time of day on a Thursday still loading the trailer up frantically and sweating our butts off and trying to get both boats in the trailer. But both boats are loaded, ready to go, and we're getting ready to find something to eat and get on the road.
Man, weekend's already off to a good start, it sounds like.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're not usually this prepared. We don't really know what to do with ourselves, but no, we're happy about it.
Well, Dylan, you're coming off some big wins last season. Just doing a little bit of background on you and just seeing how things went. And just how are you feeling overall heading into this weekend in Alton?
Man, I mean, we've kind of had I don't know. We work hard at it, and we're super happy to have had the success that we've had. And we won the first two this year and the last one last year, and I don't know. We're having fun, enjoying what we're doing, and happy to see hard work pay off. And like I said, we're having fun at the end of the day, so that's all that matters.
Well, and your dad also was a racer, correct?
Yeah, he was. He actually, that was the reason that he got into the boat business back in 1982, was because he had started racing boats and just started selling them too, and thus became our entire lives.
Well, and now take me through, what was it like, kind of watching, him do it as you're growing up, and then now, with your journey, your career on this, have you kind of had a chance to reflect on that a little bit and have that kind of moment?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really, really thankful to be able to travel with my family and, get the advice I can from my dad. Sometimes a little bit more advice than I bargained for, but he's a wealth of knowledge, and I really appreciate being able to travel with my family and just have as good a time as we do while we're doing this.
Now, has there been any bit of advice that your dad said, given you over the years? I'm sure there's a ton of it. That's been the piece that you kind of fall back to the most if things are not clicking for you, that particular day?
I mean, a lot of it kind of just comes down to keeping your head on straight. Being inside the capsule of a Formula One boat can get really aggressive really quick. The biggest thing is just keep yourself calm. Yeah. Make sure you listen into the boat. Make sure you listen into what everything's telling you, and don't let the boat drive you. Make sure you're in control and just along for the ride in a good way.
Well, see, and this is what I'm so fascinated by, just with this whole process of talking to, some of the racers and some of the event organizers for the Alton Midwest Nationals, is been the moment you're in that capsule, because you're going so fast. It does everything. And I was just talking to Shelby Love about this in the Formula Light division. Does this slow down whenever you're starting to race and you're in that water and you're going, because of just how fast everything is around you?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that, any sort of motorsports, you kind of have to get used to. Your brain and your eyes adjust to being able to see things faster as you're moving. And, like everybody always says, it's kind of cliche, but you get in there, you get on the starting line, and once the flag comes up, everything slows down. You can hear each individual heartbeat. You can just, your senses heighten for sure. And you're just, I don't know, it seems normal while you're in there, but you kind of think about it and you're making a lot of decisions in a very little time.
Well, and now take me through a little bit of your career and just your evolution in boat racing. What'd you start off in?
I started off in Formula One.
Oh, wow.
Not many people do that. I mean, really, my dad had an extra Formula One boat when we started back in 2000. We started in 2016. They had a race in Nashville, and my dad went and raced it after being retired for forever, and nice. Kind of got bit by the bug again, if you will. And we rebuilt an old boat that he had together, and we tested for about 2 years before I ever went to a race. So I had a lot of seat time and a lot of practice time and so on and so forth. And started there. First race 2018 at the end of the season. First full season was 2019, and got rolling from there.
Well, and now I wanted to ask you a little bit too, just, as you're going in this, your first couple of races, what are some of the things you learned, especially now knowing that you started off in F1, I'm sure you have to adapt quick because everything's different, every time you're out there on the water. Was there some of those like learning curves that you can share with us that you had to adapt to pretty quick?
Yeah. I mean, I guess there's two trains of thought. You can either learn slowly and it take a long time, or you can make some pretty hefty mistakes in the beginning and kind of find the limits the hard way, which I did. I mean, I've had my fair share of wrecks. I've blown over, I've barrel rolled, I've been involved in another crash with another boat, blah, blah, blah. Wow. Yeah, that's the big thing. Once you kind of learn what the limit is, as long as you remember what the limit is, and you listen to what the boat's telling you, and it's like, all right, that means I'm about to blow over. Been there, done that. We're gonna chill out a little bit, or whatever, right? So I mean, fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know which one's which. We took the hard and fast route to learning and getting good at what we do here. And I don't know. I wouldn't have it any other way at this point. Now that the boats are all fixed and everything's in good shape. So.
Absolutely. And now take me through your crew a little bit. Take me through a little bit of the folks that are supporting you and behind you on this boat, and what makes them special.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got, so like I said, my core family is with me, and the crew
That's
kind of
awesome.
just becomes core family just the same, right? My mom, my dad, my fiance. I got a little baby boy. He's 1.5. He comes with us. He's, was coming with us when he was still baking in the oven, and he's coming with us now, right?
I love it.
My crew chief, who helps me a ton here at the shop, Patrick Hoskins, Jonathan Ratzlaff, that's our media guy. Dylan Messiah, he kind of helps he used to work with us here at the shop. He helps with motors. He helps with, just, there's a lot of work to be done on the weekend. A guy who actually one of my dad's old crew chiefs from way back in the day travels with us too. And his name's Charlie Modern. He's a huge help, just the same, kind of like a wealth of knowledge, and also just a good hand throughout the weekend for all the stuff we got going on. Everybody's better halves, right? I mean, I already got my mom and my better half, but Jonathan's better half, Cara Beth, she helps with, all the media stuff as well. Johnny can't handle it all by himself. Cara Beth steps in. I don't know if he'll like that one or not, but she'll like it. Dylan Messiah's better half, Lindsay, she actually gets me strapped in the boat, and she actually, kind of gets me ready while Patrick's taking us down there to the water. And Charlie's better half, Darlene, and yeah, it's a traveling circus is what it is. But man, it's a lot of.
Well, I just think it's so cool that you guys have that, that family around you and that family atmosphere. It makes it one of those things where, to me, if I was, in that perspective, man, it would make everything so much more enjoyable too on that journey. And, I was on the website doing just trying to get some, statistics and some details. And I got to ask about your nickname. Where does Mike Honcho come in?
Oh man, you can't tell right now because I got my, my off-season scruff going on. But I rock a big, U-shape.
Oh, gotcha.
All the way down during race weekends. So yeah, if I see you up there this weekend, all this crap will be gone, and there'll just be a big old set of handlebars there.
I love it, man. Well, what makes this Alton course different than the other ones that you're on?
So there's a couple cool factors. There's a couple scary factors as well. So Mississippi River, a lot of current, and associated with the current is sometimes a lot of debris as well. Last year, there was a good little bit of debris, and we're thinking this year is going to be better. On top of that, I'll talk about just the race course. It's a fun race course. We oftentimes end up with just kind of an oval race course. This turns into a little bit more of a triangle, you'd say, and it's got a lot of little bend buoys and stuff like that. So it's a racer's course, if you will. It's technical, it's fun. You got to kind of think about it, and it's tough to get around people, but there's opportunities if you play your cards right.
And now you finished second last year, correct? In the Midwest Nationals?
Alton last year we were third. We were second in the points championship last year. Yeah. Third on the Alton race last year.
Well, and that's what I find fascinating about this as well, is how important each heat is and each prospective races for the overall point series. And it's one of those things. Do you guys have to have a strategy going in here, or is it one of those where you're just getting as many points as you can and keeping consistent?
Well, you could. I'd say maybe some of the smarter guys out there probably do strategize a little bit, because we do, reverse starts of finish order and of points and so on and so forth. So you could probably lay off a little bit and try and get yourself a better starting position for another heat, or, really when I get out there, it's kind of, just go as fast as you can to get as many points as you can and see how it shakes out at the end of the weekend.
And, just going back into, getting developed here with your racing, when did you feel that everything was clicking for you in the boat and you were officially comfortable? Was it after a few races? Because to me, it's one of those you have to race really and start racing to truly, get used to it.
Yeah, no, I mean, there was I would say a definitive moment in my, I won't say racing career, but more or less just my relationship with a tunnel boat.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, we spent 3 days down at Mercury's private test center, Lake X, and that's all we did was just test race boats for 3 days. And there's a bunch of us down there, and during that time, I kind of just figured a few things out that helped me a lot stay calm and do what I'm doing when I'm out on the race course. And yeah, it's just being in touch with the machine that's under you that you're trying to have, 1 inch of boat in the water when 16 foot hanging in front like an airplane. It kind of, it takes a little getting used to.
I would say so, and you were speaking about being in a few, crashes, earlier on in the conversation. What's that moment like whenever you're in a collision or you're in some type of crash? Is it just one of those you wait until it's over and then assess the damage, or what's that moment like for you in that capsule?
Yeah. So, I mean, the big thing for us in a wreck is, your first instinct is going to be reach down for your belts and get ready to pop them to get out. Because we're 5-point harnessed in. And when you go to get out, you're underwater, you can't see, it's dark, so on and so forth. So, before I ever even started driving, I did a lot of practice, and everybody does a lot of practice of just going through the motions of what it takes to get out of the capsule. Mm-hmm. So that way, it's almost muscle memory at that point. And, you say you get a new boat or whatever, you're going to do the same thing, or at least you should get used to where everything is. Do it with your eyes closed, get in and out of the capsule way more times than you're comfortable with, do it till your arms hurt. And, it becomes muscle memory because you're getting shaken up pretty good during a wreck. I mean, just in a normal turn, we'll pull 5 to 6 G's.
Right.
In a wreck. If you go back and look at the total G's accumulated during a wreck, our data systems will show, 30 during a nice light wreck and up to 40, 50, 60 G's of just total G's.
Wow.
During a wreck, depending on the wreck, obviously, right? I mean, some are not so bad, some are pretty bad. Big thing is get the stuff off you, swim out, get up, get out of the water, right? I mean, we do have some really cool safety features. Mm-hmm. I'm sitting in my trailer, I can kind of show you. So we've got buckets on the back of the boat that pop open and fill the back of the boat up full of water, and an airbag lid right behind the driver that pops up a big balloon. So even if I am knocked unconscious, worst case scenario, I'm floating in about 15 to 16 seconds.
Wow.
And we've got an awesome rescue crew who's there to get us out as well.
That's really fascinating, man. Thanks for showing us a little bit of the boat too. And you were talking about getting to know the boat and hearing the boat a little bit, earlier too. And I find that really fascinating too. Or is it sounds? Is it the way it's pulling? Is it all of those factors whenever you're in there in the water that you're looking for and listening for?
The big thing that a tunnel boat driver's got to get used to is just the actual tunnel doing its thing. You've got to really kind of learn I call it a bubble. I've heard it called a ton of things, but you just got to get used to what the boat is doing air-wise, because too much air and you're blowing over. Yeah. Too little air and you're just going slow and getting past, right? So it's some boats are more sensitive. My first boat I had was not nearly as sensitive as the ones I've got now. And, you just kind of, each one's different. And once you learn, say there's just call it a 10% window of trim going down the straightaway. That's the sweet spot, or whatever you want to call it. That's the big thing.
Right. Well, and it's one too with this tournament coming up. It's one of those things where you guys have great broadcast and video coverage of it, but it's, to me, one of these events where you have to see it in person to truly understand really just how the excitement of this and also just the power of these boats as well. Am I onto something with that?
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing will ever do it justice other than just seeing them in person, right? Like you got to go to a race to see it. Videos are cool, but there's nothing like watching a tunnel boat coming straight at you and just bust a turn at 100 mile an hour and not slow down a bit. It's pretty cool.
Well, and now as we're wrapping up this conversation, what do you hope that your fans and just anyone that's coming down to the Midwest Nationals, what do you hope they get out of it this weekend? Really just a busy weekend for you guys here in Alton.
I hope they get out of it what I get out of it. And that's a good time.
Awesome.
Going racing is my vacation all year long. It's and God forbid you end up in a situation where the boat's just trash and you can't race for the rest of the weekend. I love getting to watch a race, no stress, no nothing, just getting to go watch a boat race. That's awesome. It's a lot of fun. I'm sure I'm biased a little bit because I get to be in the capsule and do everything, but watching a boat race is a good time.
Well, and now are you going to be at the meet and greet tomorrow night at Max?
I should be there. Yeah. No, we'll be rolling out of here shortly, and we'll be set up in the pits tonight, and we'll be there all day tomorrow. So
really cool. Well, Dylan, best of luck this weekend, and really just excited to have you on the show and learning more about F1 and then a little bit about your career. It's been a great time.
Absolutely. Nice to meet you. Thanks for having us on. We appreciate everybody and hope to see you this weekend.
Absolutely. Not a problem. We'll link everything in a write-up on RiverBender.com for those of you who are just tuning in. We'll take a quick break. More Daily Show rolls around the corner in the top of the hour after this.